Right, let's talk about Nitro this time. Done a video days ago now about petrol RC cars. What do I think is a good idea for a beginner if you're going to buy your first one? I've done videos about Nitro. What do I think you should get if you're a beginner in Nitro? What do I think second hand, brand new? I've done videos about that in the past year or two ago, whatever. I like to update them now and again, and it's a question I get asked on a daily basis. These types of videos that I do, sometimes, you know, they're quite controversial. A lot of people think my opinions are not right, which is completely fine, but there is method to my madness, so hold your horses and stick with me on it. There's method to my madness, and from my experience dealing with different types of people over the years, I've learned that there really is different types of people, especially when it comes to RC cars, and especially when it comes to Nitro RC cars. So I'm going to sound a bit like a broken record, because I'm going to repeat myself as I did before, and I'm going to repeat myself as I've said many times in different types of videos for different things, and I'm going to repeat myself for what I said in the petrol video. I can hear you, I can hear you. What did you say? I didn't see that one. I haven't watched that one. What did you say? Well, it depends what type of person you are. It's as simple as that. Whether you get a brand new Nitro car or a second-hand one, it does depend on you. Because if you're the type of person who likes a challenge, you know, and when you come across a problem, you don't see it negatively, you see it positively, because it's a problem. It's great. It's an opportunity to learn. You know, you can learn something, and it's an opportunity to, well, find out how these actually work if something's broken. Because a lot of the time, if you don't understand how something works, you don't really appreciate it for what it is. Also, you don't know really how to use it. It's a great way that I like to teach people to drive a manual car, is I teach them how the clutch works. You know, to them, you push a pedal in and it stops, and it allows you to change gear. You let the clutch pedal up and it makes you go. But how does that do that? And why do you have to push it in to stop? And why do you have to push it in to be able to change gear? I teach them how it works. And after they learn how the clutch works, they just take to driving a manual car a lot easier than they did beforehand, because they understand how and what's happening when they push the pedal. And no, I'm not a driving instructor, but I do teach people to drive now and again, because people just come to me and ask me to teach them. Don't ask me why. So, I want you now, right now, I'm assuming you're a new person, you're a beginner. You've come across this video because you want to learn, you want some information and some advice on what you should do. You're probably undecided. Decide now. What type of person are you? Are you the type of person that likes a challenge, or are you the type of person that wants to take something on a new hobby, but you do get fed up easily, you can't concentrate, and your heart's not really in an engine? Yeah? Decide. Right? Put in the comments when you've decided. What type of person are you? Right. So, if you're the type of person that doesn't mind buying an RC car, a Nitro car, which is second hand, you're fully aware that you may be buying somebody else's problem. You may be buying a headache. Somebody else's headache. They've had enough of it. They can't get it to run. They can't get it to do whatever. So they put it on eBay. May have been slightly dishonest. And you've come along, it looks nice, and they say, oh yeah, it ran fine the last time I used it. But you may have a problem, and because you don't know what you're doing, you won't know how to mend that problem, and you probably won't know what the problem is. There's not a lot to go wrong on a Nitro car. There's not a lot to go wrong at all. Depending on what does go wrong, could depend on whether it actually works at all or not, or just a little bit. The same with many things. So, if you're happy with that, you may be buying someone else's problem, And the reason why it might not start or run very well might not be your fault. It might be there's something wrong with it. And if you've got a level head, go for a second-hand one. I'm telling you now, you won't regret going for a second-hand one. If you can, you'll be able to save some money. You'll be able to get a good quality branded car, good quality one that probably costs double or more when it was new, just by buying second-hand. And just work out any issues that are with it. Sometimes there are lemons, but that's just life. Now, if you buy brand new and your budget won't stretch to a brand new branded one like Kyosho, HPI, Losi, Hebeo, you're going to end up buying a brand new rubbish one, basically. HSP, some of the unbranded ones from shops like Nitro, which just don't go anywhere near. I've had bad experiences with them, and yes, I will say that about them. I believe if a shop is genuinely bad, it needs to be spread, because otherwise they're just going to keep ripping people off. So decide on that. If you can afford a brand new branded one, Kyosho, HPI, Hebeo, as I've just said, there's plenty of other brands as well. It's more likely that things are going to work perfectly fine. Plus, you do get a warranty. But then you've got to run it in. So you do need a certain amount of patience. And not only that, you need to remember that because you need to run the engine in, sometimes, not always, there are engines that are completely fine when they're brand new. They start up fine. But some new engines, more often than not, are more finicky and difficult to start because they're brand new. They're very stiff, never been run before, maybe for a few seconds in the factory, but probably not. These days, I think they just literally build them and pump them out. They don't even bother testing them. I might be wrong, but so you know, you need to sort of decide on that. So if you buy a brand new one, you will need to run the engine in, which takes 3 tanks of fuel on a tick over, roughly. I mean, there's many different methods, but we're just going to go for one method in this video. 3 tanks of fuel, roughly about 10 minutes per tank. So, you know, that's 10, 20, 30. That's half an hour of it just sitting there ticking over, running in. And then you've got to do another 2 tanks driving around slowly, 2 tanks driving around mid-range to fast, 2 tanks driving around touching on full throttle, and then after that you can just drive it around as you please. You have got to do some carburetor tuning after that probably, but it's not necessary. Well, it's not mandatory, if you know what I mean. Depends how the engine runs, and then you need to learn how to do that. Buying a second-hand one, chances are the running stuff has already been done. You're probably about to get it, fire it up, hopefully, and just drive it. All being well. Let's say you've bought one. I don't mean to sound negative when I said about you probably buying somebody else's headache, but it's the fact. Why do people sell stuff usually? Because it's broken. It's not very good. They got the hump of it. They sell that one and buy another one, a new one or something. You know, there's usually a reason why somebody sells something. There can be genuine reasons, such as myself, for example. I sell something because I just don't want it anymore. Simple as that. So there are Nitro cars out there which someone just doesn't want anymore. There's nothing wrong with it. It runs fine. They probably use it fine. They know what they're doing, but they just don't want it. But that's down to you to decide what type of car you're buying. You know, you get a gauge of it, don't you, from the seller and all that kind of stuff. But let's just say you've bought one which is perfectly fine. You should be able to just get it home and just drive it. You know, you won't have to do any running in or nothing. You just drive it. But there's no warranty, there's none of this, none of that. And, you know, you may be thrown completely in the deep end, as I said, having to mend it straight away. What is my favoured? 100% second hand. Many advantages to buying second hand Nitro cars. The one that I've already spoken about is it's already ran in, it's already used. Any weak points, things that are probably broken, you know, weak every car's got a weak point, probably been broken and repaired with a better part, maybe, or maybe not, but it's been tested. Also, you're not buying something new, so although I'm a very big advocate for supporting Nitro manufacturers because I want them to make more, and the more they sell, the more they'll be inclined to make, and that way the hobby won't die out. However, if there's perfectly good second-hand ones, go for that. You know, it's a balance. Why replace something old for new if the old thing is perfectly fine? So I would always go for second-hand, I reckon, especially if you're a beginner. And I've said that before, and a lot of people don't agree with it, but I think I've explained well enough the method in the madness, you know. Unless you're the type of person, I'll repeat it again, unless you're the type of person that perhaps doesn't have patience, but you've got money, you've got a budget which will stretch to a good branded, brand new one, get that. The other thing you need to think about, and a lot of people think about it, my opinion on it changes from time to time, it depends how I feel, but the other thing you got to think about is if it's a brand new hobby to you, if Nitro RC is a brand new hobby and you don't know if you're going to like it, you might not want to spend £600 on a brand new car, or £200 and £300 on a second-hand one, or maybe less, 100, 120, depending on what you buy. You might not want to spend that. So you might just want to get a really cheap second-hand one, 50 quid, just to see if you like it. But my opinion is, you might buy a lemon for 50 quid. A second-hand one that someone's had and they don't know what they're doing, they've broken it or set it up wrong and you don't know how to set it up right because you haven't learned yet. And that might put you off. I speak to loads of people every week. My email box is full up every week. People wanting to try Nitro. They go on eBay, don't know what they're looking at, they don't want to spend a lot of money, they spend 50 quid on a Nitro car which is covered in dust, been in someone's shed, get it home, can't get it to start, they get the ump and say, oh, I can't get this to run, I've had enough of it, Nitro's no good. It's true what everyone says, Nitro's no good, it always, they never work. What can I say? That's why I say, if you're going to try it, unless you've got some kind of background in engines, or you've just got common sense, or you're just really the type of person which is willing to take a challenge, if you're just, you know, get yourself, spend a decent amount of money, yeah? Don't go spending thousands, but spend a decent amount of money, get yourself a decent second-hand one, yeah? Because you won't be spending as much as if it was a new one, but you'll still be spending enough where you'll be getting a decent second-hand one, hopefully, and that will give you a decent chance in actually liking the hobby of Nitro RC, because it's different from electric. A lot of people have the misconception that RC cars are RC cars, and they go, oh, I've got electric ones, yeah, I know all about Nitro, yeah, and then they get the ump. Nitro RC is a wall. It's different from electric. Electric, you plug a battery in and you go and get bored. Nitro, you plug the battery in for the receiver, you put a bit of fuel in it, you start it up, might not start, you play around with it, it starts. You know, you drive it around, you might think, oh, I'll tune the carb a bit, and you turn the screw. You're always just fiddling, there's never a moment of boredom with Nitro. But there's things to learn. That's the fun of it. Electric, there's nothing to learn. You can learn different types of battery, you can learn about how batteries work. You can learn about ESCs, different types of ESCs, different types of motors. Maybe how diffs work. Then what? Then what? Nothing. With a Nitro car, with an engine, you're always perfecting that skill of getting that carburetor running right. You know, you're always learning about the engine. There's always something different that might happen to it. It might sound different. You think, I wonder why that is. And you do a bit of looking, digging around, and you realise something. I don't know, it could be anything. There's loads. So, there we go, really. So, yeah, I know my opinions, it's starting to rain out there, can you hear that? I know my opinions can be controversial for those of you that are experienced and you watch my little videos where I try to help beginners. But I've helped a lot of beginners. I've been a beginner myself more than 20 years ago, obviously. And I like to think I'm pretty good at seeing how other people see things. But I've come across, not just in Nitro or RC, but in everything, in every hobby. And also at work, you know. People that come into the industry that I work in, and they're just not getting it, you know. Someone else has taught them something, they're just not getting it. And then they come to me and say, look, you make it look easy. Well, how do you do that? And I break things down, and then they get it. Before you know it, they're flying. So I do genuinely think that what I've just said previously in this video will help you as a beginner. You know, if you've got the budget and you can just spend £600 on a brand or more on a brand spanking new branded, you must get a good brand. That's the key. You do get what you pay for. Yeah, don't go getting an unbranded one. Oh, it's cheaper. Oh, it's £200 instead of £700. If you want, you know, what I'm trying to say is, if you can spend that much money, by all means go and get a brand new one. Yeah, and learn with that. But if you're just trying out and perhaps you're on an ordinary budget, an ordinary person just like myself, and you just want to dip your toe into it, spend a decent amount, 200 or something like that, maybe a bit more. Get Kyosho, an MP9, or maybe if you know MP10 might pop up or whatever. Hebeo, Hyper 7, you know, HPI Savage, Monster Truck. They're a bit more advanced, but they're not hard. Something along those sort of lines, and then go from there, really, because then you'll be in a good position with what you've got. Good branded car, hopefully in good reasonable condition, and if it's not, parts are readily available. The unbranded one's a bit more difficult. If it's branded, even if it's old, could be 20 years old, there'll be parts everywhere. There are several models that are difficult to get hold of, but if you've got any questions about that kind of thing, just comment. Me or other people can read the comments and tell you that particular car, the parts are a bit scarce, or that particular car, there's parts everywhere, go for it. Simple as that. Try and stay away from Facebook Marketplace and all that, because it's just full of scammers. eBay's alright. Plenty of forums. The MS UK forum is a good one to buy stuff from. You can go on Bookface if you want. I'm telling you what to do, but I personally wouldn't. I'd stay clear. And that is it. It's as simple as that. Give it a go is all I can say, you know. Take what I've said, make of it what you will. Hope I've helped you in some way or another, at the very least, you know. If you want me to say what card, just one card recommend, a Kyosho MP9. I thought someone was coming in the door then. There's no one here. I was thinking, bloody hell. Anyway, Kyosho MP9, yeah? Buggy, yeah? Simple enough. The KE21 engine they come with, well, most of them come with, there are some variations. Get a ready set one, obviously, not the kit version, get the ready set, but if you're buying second hand, it'll be built anyway. MP9, they're a simple buggy, you can't go wrong with it, easy to drive once you get it going, the engines are bulletproof, easy to start, easy to tune. It's just one of the best buggies that I've ever come across, and probably arguably one of the best buggies that Kyosho have ever made. But they're a very iconic brand, and a very good brand at that. But I would recommend an MP9 if you can get hold of one, or Neo 3, which is basically an MP9 but more of a tamed version. The MP9 is a race buggy, but the ready set version is a race buggy but aimed at the general public. So you do get everything that's on the race buggy, but it's tamed down a bit and made a bit cheaper with different parts that are cheaper. and you get a normal ready to run engine with a pull start. The Neo 3 or whatever it is nowadays, or whatever, is more of just a, it's like the little brother to the MP9. You know, it's more just everyday, you know, it's not a race buggy, it's just whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do hope that, as I say, I hope it's helped you in some way or another. If you do like this type of video, think about sticking around. Just subscribe, simple as that. I never used to say that, but I've set myself a goal now, and I'm going to make this. I want to make this work. You know what I mean? This channel and all that. I want to properly go out there with you lot, and sort of, I want to be able to give these sorts of cars, just give them away. I want to just be able to go in the shop and say, and I want shops coming to me saying, look, we want to give you this car to give away. So I'm going to really make this work. Yeah, maybe, you know, maybe one day I'll be at race events with some sort of stall somewhere, and or selling stuff, but I'll just be able to someone just walk up and I'll just be like, I like you, have a brand new car. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to do. So the more of you subscribe, any luck, might better kick off and do something cool. But if you like this sort of video, I do videos to help beginners, and I mend cars myself. I get the second-hand cars, ones that have been in sheds, I get them running, do will it start, will it run videos, test them, do all kinds of stuff like that, you know, and then I just sell them on. Give stuff away sometimes to subscribers and things like that. So yeah, if you're a beginner, stick around, and if you're not, still stick around. Yeah, we can all just be here together. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, all the best, love life.